What is up, ladies and gentlemen? I'm your host, Spawn Madness 92, and finally, we've got where it all started with Spawn Compendium 1. Here it is. Now, looking back, I think I made this channel a little too early because I wanted this to be my first uh, review because this is where it all started. But I ended up doing Sam and Twitch. The reason I'm doing this now and not sooner was because, believe it or not, I got this as a birthday gift. So yeah, so I finally got it. But looking back, I should have waited until today to do this new channel. But in my excitement, I made the channel. Looking back, I thought, okay, I made it too soon, but I didn't want you guys to wait for 2 weeks. So that's why I did the Sam and Twitch, review, and I did some of the action figures. But now here we are. This is where it all begins, okay? Compendium 1, okay? This collects issues 1 through 50. Uh, love the cover. Here's the spine. And here is the back. Very cool. Now, of course, this is a birthday gift, so I didn't have to pay anything. But according to this, it's $60, but you can get for like $40 on Amazon. And I'm going to go ahead and read the back, and then we'll dive in and see what's all inside. It says, with Spawn, legendary writer and artist Todd McFarlane unleashes iconic anti-hero on the world and launched the most successful independent comic book in history. A government agent, Al Simmons, was killed by his own men. Resurrected from the depths of hell, he returns to Earth as the warrior Spawn, guarding the forgotten alleys of New York City. As he seeks answers about his past, Spawn grapples with the dark forces that return him to Earth, battling enemies and discovering unlikely allies. As he learns to harness his extraordinary new powers, he begins to grasp the full extent of what brought him back and what he left behind. It says Spawn Compendium 1 presents the story and artwork that helped create the Spawn legacy. For the first time in color, features Todd McFarlane's legendary hyper-detailed art and story, as well as collaborations with industry giants Greg Capullo, Batman, Alan Moore, Watchmen, Dave Sibris, Mark Silvestri, Uncanny X-Men, and Cyberforce, Frank Miller, Sin City, and Grant Morrison, Batman. Collect Spawn's issues number 1 through 50. I believe Grant Morrison, did he do X-Men as well? Or am I thinking of someone else? I can't remember. I thought he's the one that brought X-Men back, because the X-Men originally came out, I believe, in the 60s. But it only ran for like 60 issues. I can't remember exactly. And it wasn't popular, so I think they discontinued it, because not many people were reading it back then. But Grant Morrison, I believe, brought back the X-Men. That's when we first got introduced to Wolverine, Storm, Colossus, Nightcrawler, And I think Banshee was a new one, but I can't remember. But yeah, I could be wrong. Maybe I'm thinking of someone else entirely. So yeah, so the gist of the story, what I just read in the back, Al Simmons, the main character, he was a mercenary. I think he was in the military as well. He worked for the CIA. He worked under the CIA director Jason Wynn. He was married to a woman named Wanda Blake. He's got a best friend, which I think also worked for the CIA, named Terry. And, he gets killed on a mission. I'm not going into detail. I don't want to spoil it. But, later on you find out why he had to be assassinated. And apparently, because the comic, in most comics, this is kind of reason why I like these comics. In most comics, like Spider-Man, for example, it always starts out as the main character, just an average human being, and then later on they get powers. Just like Batman. He became Batman when Bruce Wayne's parents were killed. Well, the way this starts off, he's already spawned. So, but as you're reading it, you're putting the pieces of the puzzle together. You're trying to figure out what's going on. Like how did he die and why? And turns out he's been dead for 5 years. So yes, he comes back 5 years later as Spawn, as you can see right here. And of course, his wife remarries his best friend Terry, and on top of that, they have a daughter named Cyan. Now, of course, when Al was still alive, him and wanted trying to have kids, but they couldn't do it. But you learn more about that later in the series, so I'm not gonna spoil that for you guys. So, and of course, you got the Violator, Overkill, Sam and Twitch are in here as well. Actually, I think they're in issue 1 as well. So, yeah. Now I don't know if you get a good look at this, so I may turn the camera so you guys get a better look at this. But before I begin, now just like Sam and Twitch, it's soft cover, and of course, it doesn't have the cover art for each issue. I wish they did. They did that in the omnibus, hardcovers, but just like Sam and Twitch, which I've already done a review on, it's same thing. I believe the cover art may be in the back. Maybe they saved it. But I could be wrong. Maybe not. I don't know. Uh, no. Sadly, no. Bummer, but But however, I recommend this book though. Okay, despite the soft cover and not having the cover of each issue. Now, if you remember in the past collected edition, now I think the first time they did a Spawn collection of this, I believe it was early 2000. I used to have it, but I sold it years ago when I was living in Memphis. Uh, and I noticed there was a few issues missing. Either one or two issues were missing. It was either issue 9 or 10. I can't remember which one it was. And that was the first, I believe issue 9 was the first appearance of Angela. Now you're wondering, why did the past collection had missing issues of Angela? Well, Todd did not create Angela. She was created by, I believe, Neil Gaiman. I think he did Sandman as well. Uh, so there's been now, I'm not going to go into details, but there was a dispute between Neil and Tom McFarlane. Now this all happened like early 2000, I think. It was a big deal, and because since Todd didn't own the rights to Angela, uh, but I will explain more of that maybe in my later videos. But anyway, this book has issues 9 and 10. Yes, they are in here. They are not missing. So that's why I recommend this book. So without further ado, let's dive in and see what's all inside. Alright guys, here it is up close. As you can see, I got a clean table. I know I mentioned this in my Summit Twitch, but you really want a clean table if you want to read something this big. This is something that I don't recommend that you hold while reading, okay? Use a table instead if you can. So, here we go. Here it is. Very nice. I love it. All the credits. Very cool. Okay. You got this side. There's Spawn himself. Very nice. And then right off the bat, boom, issue 1. This is where it starts, folks. So yeah, very cool. So he's trying to figure out what's going on and stuff. And these news anchors, you'll see these people a couple of times, but they stopped showing up for whatever reason. Yeah, 1987. If I'm not mistaken, maybe this was the year Al died. I can't remember. And there's Jason Wynn, Al Simmons' boss, and there's Al Simmons himself, his wife Wanda. There's Al Simmons again. Yeah, so he's talking about his past. See, and then he gets assassinated. And there's Malbolgia, which Al makes a deal so he can see his wife again. And there he is, 5 years later after his death. And there's his power meter. Very cool stuff. I love it. Now, not many people may not be a fan of this artwork. Me personally, I love it. I know some people. I just love this cover right on. Let me turn the camera. Yeah, I know I mentioned this when I did my action figure. This is my favorite version of Spawn right here, with the red, and the red gloves. Yeah, this is my favorite version of Spawn. Just, your classic superhero look. Very cool. And look, you got Sam and Twitch. Try to get the glare, but you can see him right there. There's Sam. Yep. So yeah, they appear in issue 1 as well. And of course, there's a woman that's fixing to, get hurt by these thugs, but Spawn comes to her rescue. And of course, he beats them up. So very cool stuff. But yeah, so I mean, you can tell the graphics and stuff. Like, I know it's a little cartoony, but me personally, it doesn't bother me because this was the kind of art where I grew up as a kid. So it does not bother me at all. That's freaky. Yeah, see, 1992. So I'm assuming that's where the story started. I'm not really for sure now. Or maybe it's been a couple more years later. I don't know. Because, before it said 1987, but now it's 1992. So, yeah, you know what? Hang on. I may be correct. I think, yeah, she's talking about the services of Al Simmons. So, yeah, so he was killed in 1987, which is kind of weird because that's the year I was born. Yeah, pretty neat. So, yeah, so then it fast forwards to, like I said, 1992. And look at that. The Violator. There he is. I have this particular picture on my banner, by the way, on my channel. Now, if you see my banner on the desktop, you'll see it more better. I know it's kind of cut off if you guys are watching my channel on your phones or whatnot. But if you watch it on the computer, you'll see it more clearly. And there's Malbolgia again. Very cool. He's talking to a cat. So, yeah, that's one thing about the Violator. So, the Violator or Clown, he's a servant to Malbolgia. He was sent to Earth to help train the new Spawn, okay, Al Simmons. So, yeah, here he is. You better see him. There's Clown. I believe that's kind of where, like, they first meet, sort of. Because at this point, he doesn't know who this guy is. So he's like who this guy, so. And here is Violator. And yeah, he does rip out hearts. So it's a little gruesome. It's not for kids. There's Jason Wynn. So let's kind of get Oh yeah, it's like a gang war right here. I'm just kind of flipping through pages now. Oh, here's Redeemer. Now, of course, there's several people that become Redeemers, but I'm not getting into detail. I don't want to spoil it for you guys. So yeah, there he is again. He's like the anti-spawn. Oh yeah, let me. Almost forgot. I'll be right back, guys. Okay, here we are, issue 9. I believe this issue was missing in the other collection, like Spawn Origins, you know. Uh, but I've got to mention there's Angela, by the way. This is her first appearance, if I'm not mistaken, and it's the first appearance of Medieval Spawn. Very cool. You know, Angela is pretending to be a victim, so you know you gotta keep in mind. You know, she hunts Spawn, so and here she is, folks, Angela herself. She is now owned by Marvel, I believe. Yeah, she's no longer from Image. So, but this is the Angela I will always remember. I always thought she was a cool character. So, yeah, this is the reason why you want to pick this book up because it doesn't have the missing issues. So, yeah, this is where Angela and Medieval Spawn. Yeah, see. And now, see, this is 800 years later. Sorry, not a good picture, but yeah. So now it's fast forward to the present time. Here she is, New York City. So this is the first time her and Spawn like meet, you know, face to face. So there's Cog. Well, I think that's Cog. That might be one. That might be Bobby. Here's Angela in her regular civilian outfit. Headquarters. I believe this is Gabriel, her boss. And this is her hunting permit. She's trying to get a hunting permit. But I think it's been revoked. But I can't remember why. So, yeah. Here's Angela again. Fighting Spawn. Very cool. And I think he took his staff and it messed up his costume or something. Yeah, see, and then you got issue 10. Maybe it was just issue 9 that was missing. I can't remember, but yeah. Just, you know, cool stuff. I mean, again, you guys may not be a fan of the cartoon artwork, but I like it. Yeah, issue 10 is kind of weird. I think it's all a dream or he's like a limbo. As you see, it's all like black and white. But look at this guy. But yeah, it's got overkill. Like I said, I think Chapel's in here. There's Granny Blake. Just, you know, cool stuff. Jason Wynn. Here's Spawn with the shoelace I was telling you about when I did my action figure review. Yeah, so that all happened in this book. But you got to read it if you want to find out more, guys. So sorry about that. So, yeah, let me get back. Alright, guys, there you have it. Spawn Compendium 1. Like I said, I mean, it's no issues missing. That's really the reason why I recommend this book. It's nice and sturdy. And I forgot to mention when I did my salmon twitch, these are glued to the binder, whatever. So in case y'all are wondering, but and like I mentioned before, far as I know, there are 7 books. As you can see, I got some on my shelf already, so I'll be collecting them, and I will go over these as well. Uh, I've got maybe just 2 more to get, and I'll be caught up with this. So, yeah, I mean, I love this book. Pick it up if you can. It's only $40. I mean, 50 issues for $40. You can't go wrong with this. I think each of these books collects 50 issues each. Just like Salmon Twitch. I think Salmon Twitch, to be exact, was 55 issues. So, yeah, for $40, you can't go wrong with that. So, I love this book. Uh, and I recommend it. And I know I said the past collection, like I said, issues 9 was missing, and they discontinued it. They never made any more volumes. That's why I ended up selling it, because I gave up on it. And of course, they came out with Spawn Origins, which from my understanding was hardcover. But I don't know if that's still continuing or that's discontinued. But I believe that collection also has issue 9 missing, but this one doesn't. So for that reason alone, I recommend this book. So go out and get it. I'll try to put a link in the description box. For whatever reason, I couldn't get to work when I did my Salmon Twitch video. Maybe I'll go back and try it again. So I'll put a link to this so you guys can buy this. I mean, it's not expensive. It's not hard to find. You can find this anywhere. I'm pretty sure you might find it at your local comic book store. Who knows? But it's not rare. It's an easy find. It's not expensive. You can pick this up again for $40, maybe cheaper. I don't know. So anyway, guys, thank you for watching. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Leave a like. More videos coming your way, and I'm making no promises here, but what I might do is I might make at least 2 videos per week on this channel. Maybe, or it may end up being 1 video per week. I don't know. So, but right now I'm aiming at 2 Spawn videos per week. So, because I'm doing so much on my other channel, the Ranger Gamer 06. Okay, so if you're into more gameplay, like Resident Evil, Final Fantasy, Max Payne, all that stuff, then go over to my other channel and check that out. But anyway, thank you for watching. I hope this video helps you decide whether or not you want to pick up this book. Me, personally, I recommend it. It's such a good book. It's a good read. Now, of course, not for kids. It's got some violence in it. But no nudity. For whatever reason, there's no nudity in this book. Now, in the newer issues, maybe. Because I haven't read every single issues yet. So, I'm still reading this. So, as of right now, this is an ongoing series. So, but I'm loving it. So, anyway, thank you for watching. Subscribe, leave a like, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Take it easy.